Welcome back. It is Tuesday, June 6, 2023, day 2 of assembly week for the fuel tanks. I appreciate you hanging in. I think that we're at episode 61 or 62 at this point. It's a lot. If you watched yesterday, you know how I feel now about working with ProSeal, the mess that it makes and the challenges that it presents. Today we're going to get started on attaching the stiffeners to the bottoms of the fuel tank skins. And if you recall from yesterday's video, I forgot to attach this little clip for the vent line that goes right here. It shares a hole with one of these rivets that attaches the tank flange to the skin. I've already drilled that out. Once these stiffeners are in place and all the rivets are loaded up, then I'll go ahead and mix up a batch of sealant so that I can get this and start working on those. So that's where we're at today. We'll see how far we get. Thanks for being here, and I really do appreciate all the support and the feedback that I've been getting on this channel. It's been a lot of fun. I've gotten some very helpful tips, and keep it coming. I like it. So see you on the other side.
Now that I know exactly how messy this stuff is, when I was setting up for today, I took 2 glasses from the kitchen, 2 different looking glasses, and in one I poured a pretty generous portion of MEK substitute, and the other one a good amount of acetone, so that I always had it close by that stuff that I can use to clean up messes or to do a final cleaning on parts. And then if it just got to be too much, if it was overwhelming, I could just drink both glasses really quickly and run out in front of a bus and get it all over with. So I had options. Final cleaning of these scuffed parts, and I think I've already loaded up the rivets here. The first fuel tank that I did, every stiffener that I did to completion before moving on to the next one, which means that I applied sealant to the stiffener, placed it on top of the rivets, riveted them on, worked the fillet around the stiffener, and then used a little piece of tubing to encapsulate all of the factory heads, or shop heads rather. That took me about an hour to get through the first 6 stiffeners, which effectively meant that I was really out of usable work time with that material. So I got through half. There are 12 total stiffeners, so I got through half of that fuel tank, and then took a break and came back with a different plan now that I had some experience with it. So when I came back for the second half of this fuel tank that looks like the left fuel tank, I decided that I could... Oh, and here I'm putting that clip on the fuel cap flange. So here we go, second round, second half. This time I did all of the riveting before I did any of the messing with trying to work on the fillets or encapsulating the shop head of the rivets. And what that meant was, because I wasn't switching up operations, I had all of these 6 riveted on into 22 minutes, maybe 18, 20 minutes or something like that. Very quick compared to the previous set. And then same thing on the other side, or the rest of the work. It's just one operation at a time. So I think that I had all of this half of the fuel tank done in less than 30 minutes, I suppose, or in that neighborhood. Try to do a little bit of cleanup, and then we'll move on to the right tank and try again yet a different technique when I get to that. The camera's very forgiving from this angle. It looks relatively clean. It's not. So yeah, on this one, now I have a better feel for how quickly this work can go. And I'm loading up the rivets, and I think that I'll run out of tape at the end of this row of stiffeners, and I'll disappear and suddenly have a hat on. I'd gone to the store and picked up some Scotch tape to finish it up. By the way, I'm doubling up on the latex gloves. So I'll put on 2 layers, and then when they get too gummy, I can pull off 1 layer without having to struggle to put another pair on. So, yep, getting into the second one here, the rivets are all loaded up. Everything's cleaned and ready to go. And on this one, I will do all of the riveting for all 12 in a single pass. So this is what Ryan Flies calls tank taffy. And now I know why. It's not because of the appearance, it's because of the texture. It is about as thick as taffy. And it to me, it has always looked a little bit more easily flowing in videos I've seen when people working with it. But once you get your hands on it, it's not. It's pretty stiff stuff. So yeah, I did all of the riveting for all 12 on the second tank in one pass. And I want to say that by the time I had done all of that, done all of the fillets, and was halfway through encapsulating all the, what you see me doing here, encapsulating all of the shop heads, I think the total time for that whole thing was like an hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, and believe it or not, looking at it right here, this is much cleaner than the other one. I used, I think, significantly less sealant on this one now that I had a better idea of what I was doing and what a good seal felt like. Of course, leak testing still has to prove me if I'm right or wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, in the end, I think it turned out pretty well. Amateur tip here on using Scotch tape. It actually works pretty well for riveting, but don't wipe down the surface with acetone before you take the tape off, because then it's a pain in the ass. There you go. That is the second one. Done.